In the previous video, we essentially dealt with the question of how individual came onto the agenda of international law, and we discussed that it is the framework of international human rights law which brought the individual onto the understanding of international law. In the present video, we will be focusing on as an extension to the role of the individual or the significance of the individual to international law in relation to international criminal justice. When we focus on international criminal justice, essentially we are talking in terms of rendering criminal justice at the international level. In a classical understanding of the criminal justice, it is generally understood that criminal justice is essentially primarily rendered by the state, means that if a crime takes place on the territory of a state or by its individuals, it is the state which is concerned would be punishing the perpetrator of the crime. So, therefore, the jurisdiction in relation to criminal matters is normally related based on the territoriality, based on the active personality or based on the passive personality. So, but all these factors mainly relate the criminal justice system by way of punishing the perpetrator, link the state which is concerned with it. Now, this is predominantly the general understanding of the criminal justice system, but there are very few exceptions to this understanding. The exception of where a criminal justice jurisdiction is exercised beyond a state, which was mainly in relation to the crime of piracy, where historically it was understood that wherever the crime of piracy took place, the universal jurisdiction would come into play, which means that any state, even if the state is not related to the crime of piracy, a state, if the state found the perpetrator or comes into contact with the perpetrator, the state would exercise jurisdiction. So, therefore, this is considered as an exception to the general rule of state exercising criminal jurisdiction in relation to their territories or in relation to their citizens. So, therefore, that is the general rule being the states are central to rendering the criminal justice system, with an exception being piracy, in respect of which universal jurisdiction historically existed. But what makes the current understanding of international criminal justice different from the general rule is that the premise on which this idea of criminal justice is established is that the individual who are accused of committing certain crimes are prosecuted in accordance with international law, probably by international courts and tribunals in accordance with international law. So, therefore, there is a limited role that is given to the state, but it is the international institutions in accordance with international law who will be prosecuting individuals for the perpetration of the crimes. Now, the history of international criminal justice reveals interesting trajectories, which in the sense that most of the times when we refer to international criminal justice, mostly these crimes are related to situations of armed conflict, which generally take place in a grave form, in a massive scale. So, therefore, the nature of the international crimes is generally understood as massive in nature, grave in nature and large scale in nature in terms of its gravity as well as in terms of its scale. They are not one or two crimes, but more than one or two crimes. So, therefore, the difference that international criminal justice makes with regard to the perpetration of the crimes is that mostly it deals with a large scale crimes. So, historically that is how it has evolved over a period of time. So, what is important is that, which is different from the general understanding that we discussed in the previous videos when we dealt with states as well as when we dealt with individuals' rights, is that in the understanding of international criminal justice, it is the individuals who are prosecuted and punished for the perpetration of certain crimes as individuals, though it is being governed by international law. So, it is not the states who are being accused of committing crimes, but it is the individuals who are being accused of crimes, even if they are part of the state structures. So, therefore, it is the individuals which becomes central to the understanding of the prosecution of for certain crimes. So, what is important, why this international criminal justice idea has emerged? Why not the states only should be dealing with, even if the crime is grave in nature, even if the crime is large scale in terms of numbers. The reason why the idea of international criminal justice has evolved is that it is generally understood that most of the crimes take place at a large scale level, and many a time states fail to prosecute those who are accused of committing these crimes. So, why states fail to prosecute these crimes? The understanding is that most of these crimes take place in situations of conflict. The conflict can be between two or more states, or the conflict can be between a state and a non-state actors. So, there is a possibility of state machinery or individuals belong part of the state structure might have taken part in the commission of these crimes, or people belonging to non-state actors might have committed these crimes who have attained a political power after the end of the conflict. So, there is a possibility that either the state officials or the individuals belonging to non-state actors who are accused of committing crimes might become part of the state structure. So, therefore, there is a possibility that the state machinery might not like to prosecute them and punish those individuals. So, there is a possibility of impunity happening for the perpetration of these large scale crimes. So, therefore, there is no justice, criminal justice being rendered, and the victims are left with no option. So, the argument in favor of international criminal justice is to fight against impunity, means there should not be a possibility of perpetrators of international crimes going scot free. They should be punished for the perpetration of these crimes. But what needs to be underlined is that so far the international criminal justice system, or the idea of international criminal justice through international criminal institutions, really does not prosecute all the individuals who are accused of committing these crimes, because it is in terms of administration of justice, in a functional sense, it becomes difficult for the international criminal tribunals to prosecute all the individuals who are accused of committing these crimes. Therefore, what the international criminal justice system does through international criminal institutions is to focus more on the bigger players, those who are in the decision making process, who probably would have participated in the decision making process in the commission of these crimes. Therefore, the purpose, or at least that is what it has happened so far, is that it is these bigger players who are targeted by the international criminal law and the international criminal institutions so far. So, that is what the idea of the international individual criminal responsibility under international law is that. So, what needs to be emphasized is that though it has become part of international law discussions for the last in the last century after the First World War, but the more emphasis on international criminal justice started in the last 2 decades or so. That is, from the beginning of the 1990s, there is an emphasis on the establishment of international criminal institutions in accordance with international law. So, this part primarily dealt with the idea of individual criminal responsibility and international criminal justice. The second part of this video would be dealing with how the international criminal justice institutions evolved over a period of time and where they are in the present world. Thank you.